24 minutes to 8. The segment is brought to you by Tui Garden. We're back to check on the progress and discover some expert tips on growing that quintessential Kiwi favourite crop, tomatoes. Yes, you say tomatoes, I say tomato. Friend of the show, Lucas de Jong. Tomato, tomato, tomato. You've been busy in the garden.
No, you're not saying it with nearly as much passion, Daniel. It's tomatoes. And a fresh picked tomato off the plant is magic in the midst of summer. So we are here at the Tui Test Garden. Hannah is from Tui. She's going to give us some amazing tips at the moment to try and get these things in the ground, because now is the time to do it, right? And Labour Weekend's the one.
Yes, I mean, some people might say we're a little bit early, but the weather is warm, so, we're good to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so look, it's not as simple as just popping it in. There's some things that you do need to know. Talk us through them.
Cool, yeah. So we're going to plant some tomatoes here today. I've got the Moneymaker tomato here, so we're going to get this one in the ground. I've got a planting hole here. It's quite big. You might think it's too big, but actually we want it to be quite big to give it the base for the roots to grow into with the tomato mix. So we did have some Tui compost and sheet pellets here earlier. We've prepped. We've also put some tomato mix on, which is perfect for what we're growing. So I'll firstly put this in some seaweed tonic, and we did this last month with our strawberries and our veggies, and look how good they went. And that just helps reduce the transplant shock. We'll take them out of the root ball here, and as you can see, we've got a few kind of shoots coming out of the bottom, and with tomatoes, they grow so big so quickly, so we want to really give them the best stability and the best start. So you can actually pinch these little shoots off, the first shoots. And these little roots here, you might refer to them as the little furry things.
Little furry hairs?
Yes, yeah.
Is that not scientifically accurate?
Not scientifically accurate. It does look that way, but they're actually adventitious roots. And so what that is, essentially, is that these can be planted right up to that base, and that will form some roots in the ground, and just give it that real stability. So we can plant this actually right up until that top, till those first two true shoots. So
love it.
Look at that one.
You've gone with, so that's just a normal tomato. Now, I've actually been given a grafted, which is a very fancy, richer, special one. If you come in super close, you may not actually see it, but it's actually two plants. One plant is a different kind of root base. The tomato has then been added to the top, that's going to be a different one there, and that's going to give it a much stronger growth pattern, as those roots are going to spread much quicker. Yeah. So I'm going to do exactly what you've done and pop it in there as well.
Awesome.
You've got some other plants here too, though. You've mixed in. Why have you done that?
Yeah, so we're going to add some companion plants in here as well. We've picked some basil and marigolds. They're both said to repel pests, which is super handy, especially when you don't want those little things in your garden. And marigolds attract the beneficial insects like bees and helps pollinate the garden as well. And I guess the best part of it all is you have basil ready when your tomatoes are for some yummy bruschetta or pizzas later.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, now anyone that's planted a tomato plant before, these can get pretty big pretty quickly, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So staking is super important because, they will grow very quickly. They will shoot up and they'll grow out. So we've got some stakes here. We won't put them in right now, but we will put them in shortly. And it is important to stake them early so you don't damage those plant roots later on.
Awesome, mate.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Cool.
And honestly, in a month's time, you guys will be blown away, especially with that rich soil and that food, because these will get huge so quickly.
Yeah, we're going to use this seaweed later on. We don't need to waste that. We'll pop that in the garden. So, we'll just use that shortly.
Wicked, hey, look, lots of people, when they sort of are planting plants, they feed the soil first. They go, great, I'm going to carry on living my life.
Yes.
These eat, right?
They do.
You've got to feed your food.
Yeah, they're gross feeders, so they grow super quickly. They want heaps of food. It depends on how you like to feed your plants, but we're going to use our Tui tomato superfood for these. So liquid feeding is really important. That you can feed that weekly. It absorbs the nutrients really quickly. There is a seedling rate on these, so make sure you use that as well.
Awesome.
But we'll get that in the garden shortly and give them a nice drink.
Great, mate. And hey, look, there's a website as well. If you've got any good tips you need, jump on the Tui website. There's a whole tomato growing guide section there.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that passion, Dan? Are you feeling it?
I'm learning so much, Lucas. Honestly, I did ask a question to my colleagues here whether, when you put the steak in and you got the tomatoes, can I put rubber band to hold?
Sort of soft tie. You want a soft tie, something nice and delicate. And tell you what, by the end of that season, that basil, it'll be right for a bit of pesto, won't it?
Yum.
And Sasha, you were saying, you instead of using pine nuts, which cost, of course, an arm and a leg, you're going for something else.
Sunflower seeds. Much cheaper, quarter the price.
I'm thinking of TVNZ gardening spin-off season.
You two can host that.
TVNZ Plus coming.